差，此处不不少规则需要人牢牢的记下。
爱恨在。
要做手，放弃这种。
What's happening right now? Yes, Sir Hairless here. This is Red Moon Rules. This performance was in my last poll of which Dimash reaction to do next. It came in second place to Kairan Elim, which I loved, by the way. Please check out my reaction to that if you've not seen that already, card up here. But it did get a lot of votes, so I've decided to do it. I'm told it's quite different in style to Kairan Elim. Dimash sang this song in a duet with Huang Xiaoyun, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, in a Chinese show called Our Song, which aired on Dragon TV earlier this year, 2024, at the end of August. So that was a few months ago. It's a little tricky to find information on this. I did, however, find a quote from Dimash, which is on the screen now if you want to pause and read. For anyone who doesn't read English, the summary is he's saying he's happy to perform in Chinese. It's difficult, but one of the richest languages, and Chinese songs are filled with deep meaning. To that end, the song is apparently a soundtrack of a web anime series. I've never heard of it. It's called Since the Red Moon Rose, or Since the Red Moon Appeared. It's based on the story of a red moon that appears in the sky, which leads to many deaths, and a group of spiritual combatants save the world. So here are the lyrics on the screen now. There are a lot of them, so please pause and have a read through. They're very interesting lyrics, I think. Conspiratorial, uprising. As we said, this is a duet. So the other singer, she is a Chinese singer and actress, and apparently also is known as Ghost Huang or Wink XY. From everything I've just said, this should be an interesting one.
处在天倒影的世界，几分是清真，几分茶。此处不少规则需要人牢牢的记下。首先是高高的围墙，没有人会想越过它。只有那路虎月亮在空中自由的悬挂。第二，让别人赞誉咖啡，绝对不能宣告而下。女巫最擅长催眠法术，别想自命忘他。第三人是乘风买手价，就必须要强制拉闸，不需要等到双手双脚都全部就成花。
夜前开冒新的优雅，摄影用水将进不吞下，不要干掐，锋利规划，还想错的他，不计负心还混杂。
Who was expecting that? Wow. I'm just going to say right now, I am going to pause and I probably have quite a lot to talk about. So if you don't want to hear pauses or hear me talking, go to the timestamp here. I'd kind of just want to go straight back over that. That was unbelievable, actually. I had goosebumps. I don't know if you were able to see in my eyes. Maybe, I guess I'll find out when I go back to edit this afterwards. But I get different kinds of goosebumps. Sometimes they come super intensely for a short moment. In this, they kind of arrived immediately, not quite as intense, but they were sustained. I think I was just surprised. I had no idea what to expect there. Firstly, the aesthetic. It's quite kind of gothic is the word, maybe. I'm going to call her Huang, which I believe is her first name. So she's holding the, well, I guess this is a red moon. There are no lyrics, unfortunately, on the video in YouTube, but if we go back to look at the lyrics, we can see what she is singing about. Kind of like a set of instructions or rules. And then Dimash comes in with his verse, which is a bit more smooth, legato, drawn out, a bit more pensive, a bit more mystical, perhaps. Then they, of course, sing a line in unison, and then that's when the beat came in and everything. So interesting structure in that regard. To go back to the beginning, harpsichord opening, so well suited for this style. The harpsichord, a super popular keyboard instrument before the piano really came about. And when I hear a harpsichord, I just think of Baroque music, all the embellishments, the trills. Straight into this diminished chord immediately, which then resolves through a suspension. That's cool, this kind of sped up effect of her visually, and the music suddenly becomes very chordal. Cha, cha, cha. Then the orchestral accompaniment comes in. So immediately we do have a larger sound. I can only assume that the sound is live in this TV show, and we can see the instrumentalist around the edge here. Then the vocal entry, and I was completely taken aback. We had this, like I say, a sort of Baroque harpsichord entry. And then each phrase starts, and I'm hearing the bass. Dum bum, 5-1. Perfect cadence. So the phrase ends, gets to the end, and then we get this taking us straight back to the beginning. The melody as well, how rhythmic it is. And I am so impressed with her voice, her tuning, her accuracy. Really unbelievable in my opinion. Again, on the point of Baroque instrumentation, when chamber orchestras were popular, violins, and here they are just essentially backing up the melody. These homophonic rhythms, everything about this performance is high energy, even though the sound isn't that large. It's quite a soft, reserved sound. The language too, I don't speak it, but so many sh sounds, which are quite strong consonants, and they really help with the changing of notes. It's all at the front of the mouth and the lips. Nice chromatic line, sung moving up in contrary motion to the strings moving down, so the arrangement's kind of opening up. And then how to transition into the next verse? Well, why not just put a little run up in the instrumentation? Slight harmonic change there. Overall, it's the same harmony, but just a slight difference. That was really brought about in the bass part, but now they've gone back, so we are now re-familiar. So often the role of the bass is to be this harmonic foundation underneath everything to really affirm what we think we might be hearing in terms of harmony. The bass part here now starts to get a bit chromatic, descending. Have a listen. So I think it's kind of hinting that things might start to change a little bit, get a bit more exciting perhaps. And what happens? She moves up. We now get the chorus joining in. It's really fun. It's really fun. And I love how she slides down from her head voice into her chest voice. So many chromatics in her melody. Some interesting intervals as well, which really emphasize these chromatics. Chromaticism, by definition, is one note to the immediate next note. Most intervals, by definition, are the opposite. They skip notes and jump around. So there we get this. That first interval, one that I often say is my favorite interval. This is a minor sixth, and then we move up chromatically. No gaps in between these notes, just stepwise, and then a little bit of a jump up to the next note, a minor third. And we get a lot of these, and these really enable her to show off her voice, which, like I say, I think is unbelievable. It's a quick melody, and her tuning is just perfection, which is so difficult to do. And like I said before, the intervals, the jumps, really allowing for the change between the voice types. Head voice to chest voice, maybe a bit of a transition between the two, some blended voice. Right, then Dimash comes in. Sorry, just before he does, just listen to the backing instrumentation, how much is going on. We've got all these runs moving down in things that kind of sound like a xylophone, moving up in the lower parts. Harpsichord as well. It's crazy. And I keep using the word fun because it reminds me of, I don't know, toys or dolls or something. You know, not quite real. Here's Dimash, operatic Dimash. The second time I ever heard Dimash or saw Dimash, that was Olympico. Please check out my reaction if you haven't seen that and you're interested. That was around a year ago, actually. You can find the card up here. This is where I first really heard, as I called him at the time, I think, operatic Dimash. So much power in that voice. And now the harmony, the tonality, it's getting a bit strange. Again, chromaticism is really the key. So we go from this to, and underneath that, in the bass part, we hear this. And we can see on these second notes of the phrases how it causes dissonance with the bass part. just like we heard in the previous phrase as well. And just before we paused, we've still got the choir going on in the background. The two main singers, Dimash and Huang, now start singing in unison. Just like we saw before, that jump down to chromatic rise up. And then the beat came in, it looks like. So let's carry on. What's happening right now? This is one of those performances that I feel like is making me go mad, because I just know I'm going to be listening to this on repeat afterwards for another day, 2 days, probably until I literally go mad. I spoke a lot before about the performance. A lot of those musical ideas essentially we're still seeing, and they make up the infrastructure of the song, of the performance, but there's just growth in every aspect. Dimash has kind of been taking a secondary role here, but that does not diminish the importance of his role and also the complexity of his part. I was listening thinking, even though he's mostly singing the same note, this is something that I think a lot of people might underestimate how difficult it actually is. Again, due to the precise tuning, because of how quick and disjointed the notes that he's singing is. As for Huang with the melody, the same thing applies, just super, super, super impressed. From where we carried on, Dimash has these offbeats. Just try and do that and see how difficult it is to be perfectly in tune on each note. Even just do it rhythmically accurately as well. You might find yourself wanting to implement vibrato, but you need a longer note to do that. It's tough, it's tough. We hear the choir doing it as well, and then he joins in, and he's using this kind of blended voice. And it just works so well. It blends with the choir, it blends with her. We've got the electric guitar coming in now, the modern instrumentation. So we've gone from very Baroque-esque into just much more modern stylistically. But the musical infrastructure from the previous part has carried on through. I think it suits the aesthetic, the kind of gothic aesthetic fashion, arguably from 1 or 2 or 3 centuries ago. So it's kind of like neo-Baroque, but also modern. A blending of time periods, and to me it's fascinating. I'm really fascinated by this bit of music. Here, let's listen to the guitar, her melody, Dimash now rising up, descending motion, rising motion, as a scale. Chromatically, it's all in there, just in those 3 parts alone, let alone everything else. Sorry? The little jump to that. That was really nice, wasn't it? And here comes, again, operatic Dimash, but now much more head voiced. And then he goes back to the offbeats, cha, cha. And I was thinking that would continue, but it doesn't. And then he comes in with that line. So I'm expecting things, they don't happen. We're always getting new ideas or old ideas just coming in when you don't expect them. I've got a million more things to say, but we'll just be here all day. The sort of transitionary period here, alternating between 2 notes done separately across multiple parts. We have the violins sustaining at the top.
会深陷入沉默。
So the alternation between the notes back and forth, dissonance back to not dissonance, back to dissonance, back to not dissonance. Basically increasing tension. And then... Again, very interesting harmony. They're moving in perfect parallel motion with each other, up and down. I don't know who this is, but I was thinking that must be what I look like when I was watching it for the first time. And then, of course, the top C, for context, that's the highest note your soprano is typically expected to sing. And then that's where we paused and where I said we now have a change of the time signature. So we'll carry on, but just to quickly explain what I meant by that. The music up until now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then where we paused, you can immediately sense the change. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we've gone from thinking in fours to thinking in threes is a simple way to think about it. And that makes her melody much more jumpy and waltzy in a way. The first two beats, and then on the third beat is when she jumps up. So that jump up now only lasts one beat, and then we go back to another 3-beat phrase instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's a much quicker turnaround, and then starts again. I really liked that. I thought that was so fun. I don't have too much to say for the final section. It's mostly repeated ideas. Funnily though, as I was talking about the time signature change, we then revert back almost immediately. So we'll listen to the top C again, and the more times we listen, the more likely we are to hear other instruments or other parts in there that we don't always catch on the first listen. So I just want to emphasize the instruments in the background underneath this note. They are providing so much rhythmic energy. See if you can see what I mean. The part going, but quicker. Which sets Huang up very nicely with this really nice jumpy melody. All these live performances, these arrangements, they're so carefully thought out. I don't know who did this arrangement, but I want to give a shout out to them because I think they deserve recognition. Another example there, the violins underneath constantly playing to really enable the change back to the older time signature much more naturally. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I'm going to go listen many more times, and I'm sure I'll notice many more things that I would have missed and not spoken about in this video. Quite different for a Dimash video in the sense that he, like I said, is taking a much more secondary role, but his role, I think, although outwardly it might seem a bit understated, is so important. It had harmonic significance, rhythmic significance, structural significance, textural significance. And for a male singer as well, for this to work as a duet between female and male, there are very few males on the planet who could sing this part just like Dimash did there. Well, let's leave that one there. If you voted on this one in my previous poll, hopefully it's a nice surprise to see the video come so soon. And if you didn't or are new to my channel, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe so you can catch any future polls. At the time of this video's release, we're about to head into December, which will be the Christmas season. So if you enjoy my videos and would like to support me by keeping me nice and warm and cozy this Christmas, you can donate a hot chocolate or two at the Buy Me a Coffee linked below. And if you'd like to become a member of the community, participate in weekly polls, get access to exclusive content not available on YouTube, you can do so by joining the Patreon linked on the screen now. And I will see you next time.